All right, dude.
What is going on? We're live, Paul. Why are you talking?
I see that. Oh, why are you talking? We literally went live. Why are you speaking? Okay,
I clicked the button without telling you. Deal with it. What's up, nerds? Welcome back to another episode of the Aggressively Average Angler podcast. We are back home from Florida, and we want to talk about it. There's a lot of things to talk about tonight, and I think we're going to have a lot of fun. We're excited to hang out with you guys. This is our buddy Herbie. You guys will see Herbie's journey sometime in the future when we get to editing it. But we picked this up from the Hobie Eyewear booth. It says Hobie on the side there. You can't see it. And he was our companion while we were trapped at the airport for 6 hours longer than we absolutely should have. So there you go. He's our buddy. Literally. It was pretty awful. We'll talk about that story towards the end of the show. There's a lot to talk about. We got to hang out with some really cool people, and we'll call them out later as well. So being trapped at the airport, not so bad when you get to meet some awesome dudes and a lady and hang out and talk about fishing and stuff. It was all dudes and one lady, but we procured a table at Outback Steakhouse and we had some brewskis, and then our plane showed up. It was like a miracle. It was really cool. So tonight we're going to be talking about our ICAST recap. We want to go through some of the products and things that we saw there, everything from baits to kayaks, which I guess I have to start using kayaks with air quotes. We'll talk about that problem for our Q of the D, and also people, because honestly, like the biggest thing for us at ICAST is meeting really cool people.
Oh, those people were cool.
Yeah, I was like, are we still upset about it?
Oh yeah, people in general very unhappy. 1 out of 10.
People on the internet, 1 out of 10. People we met at ICAST, 12 out of 10. Maybe, possibly some of them, 20,000 out of 10. Some really cool folks there. We'll get to that later on in the show. So without further ado, let's start out with some Q of the D. Our question
More
of the day
like
today,
a T of the D, like topic of the day.
Topic of the day.
Yeah,
this is a fun one though.
Look, we posted a video about the Bonafide kayak, new one that just came out. Very cool.
XTR,
big
130.
XTR, big 2-person. It's a bass boat pretending to be a kayak. And that was how we kind of framed it up, because that's kind of how we see the design and just the concept. And, it's not meant to be paddled. A lot of people liked it and thought it was very cool. Very exciting. Like probably the biggest kayak release, had the most traction,
It's kind of a surprise, like a stealth drop as well.
They didn't really talk about it until they dropped it. So anyways, very cool boat, cool design, very modern, very common compared to like what's out there now. People were furious. People were very upset that anyone would have the audacity to semantically name it a kayak, and then they were very mad about the label, and they were very upset that anyone could have the gosh darn gall to make what everyone is asking for, which is a huge kayak that acts like a bass boat. They're very upset about a company just meeting what the consumer is demanding for. So yeah, there's some very mad people. I could not believe the number of comments we got, guys, of people just saying that's not a kayak, and fishing was only fun when it was simple.
When it was simpler.
And you did a sit inside kayak. That was the only time it was ever fun. What?
So people were going off.
You can't buy those anymore? You can't buy a sit inside?
They don't exist anymore, Paul.
You're not allowed to do anything that you guys like to do. I don't know if you do that, guys. So you don't actually have any freedom.
You have to buy the big
user 164849000XT04 said that you're an idiot. And actually, he's a better fisherman than you, because he only does it with 2 rods and reels on a sit inside kayak
that was a
$4 nickels for 80 years ago, and he's better than you, just so you know.
Can I play now? Can I talk now?
No.
Your rant over yet? Can I rant?
Keep going.
I would like to keep ranting.
It's a 2-hour, 4-hour show.
What's in your spindrift, my guy?
Comments.
Straight unleaded
comments.
Also, my brother called out, we probably shouldn't call it T of the D, and I think you, after hearing it the second time, will be like,
perfect. What are you mad about?
On the T of the D. All right. Anyways, that little comment thread that we dove into is pretty hilarious. There's a guy who's probably maybe the most upset about this. Here's the thing, you guys. I don't care what we call it. It's a kayak because it's made out of plastic. And for years, the definition of a floatable vessel that was made of plastic in that shape was a kayak. If you don't want to call it a kayak, that's fine. Call it a kayak with air quotes. Call it a baby bass boat. Call it a personal bass boat. When a
kayak company manufactures it and calls it a kayak, I think you're gonna just have to be okay with it. Like,
I mean, you can be mad about it, but like, when did this become the case where we're just like, somebody makes something cool for a specific audience, that audience isn't you, and then you decide to just poo all over.
You're mad that they called it something. Oh,
Yeah.
dude, whatever.
That was the weirdest thing. It's one thing to be like, that's really big. And to those people, yeah, it's big. It definitely needs to be trailered. If you're not about using a trailer, you know, the storage, that I get. But when you're just like, that's not a kayak, I'm like, oh, okay. Well, it's
your comments should have been not for me.
Yeah.
Period.
Which is great. Like, you guys, not everything is for you.
Also, not for me. I have no desire to be in that kayak whatsoever.
I don't think we will, because it kind of doesn't fill an extra bucket that like the Titan X already does. So it's hard for me to be like, I'll ditch my Titan X to go with an XTR. So like, I hear you. There could be more respectful discourse on this, and also stop the silly like.
It's just a weird thing to get mad about. I've never looked at the first sit on top kayak and been like,
what is it? You're supposed to sit inside. It's supposed to be wobbly and not stable.
I wouldn't have called it. What? Who?
He just turned into that guy.
What in the world, dude?
Yeah, it's interesting. And it kind of like, it's branched off of the might as well buy a boat, should have bought a boat. Kind of the funny thing about that too.
And then they'll be like,
yeah, well, yeah, we all have tried that. Like,
it's under $3,000. It's huge. Right, it's
$2,800, and everybody's like, "That's insanely expensive." I'm like, compared to
very average for a base kayak
for kayaks these days. Like, that is they're packing a lot. They're punching high above that price point, in my opinion. Also, RAR fishing, I believe it's roughly 500,000 moss.
No, it's way more than that. More 750. Yeah,
750.
Yeah,
close to 800 moss.
Maybe with 2 seats. Yeah.
Inside bit. That was, we talked about that on our live, didn't we? Last week's live, the impromptu live. That was a lot of fun.
That was pretty
yeah. So at the end of the day, a lot of guys say you should just buy a boat, you should have a John boat. I disagree. I feel like this fits a niche kind of where we're at, where like, I want it to be this plastic vessel with all the accessories, with all the tracks. Like, I love that. I don't want a John boat.
And then I love how they're like, I'll go buy a John boat, but they're complaining about the weight. And I'm like, this one weighs a quarter of what a John boat weighs.
Yeah, it's for certain lighter than a John boat.
Definitely costs less, but even if they were the same price, you're saying you're just going to go buy the same thing in a different material, and is definitely less refined. And then, but you're right. So I'm paying less to get the same. You're telling me I'm paying less to get the same thing.
Yeah,
but lighter, more refined. And I'm an idiot. I don't.
Argument invalid. Point is, you guys, everything on the internet is not for you or for us, and that's okay. And we all can have respectful discourse. Case in point, we posted about sunglasses, and the internet absolutely lost their nonsensical minds, and that was fun. We'll hit that in our slow rolling thunder. We're not going to talk about it right now.
Roos.
This one, percentage breakdown of power usage in the Titan X. I believe, I'm going to guess you mean what I use the most. It definitely is in the order you listed. It's motor first, then pedal, then paddle. If I had to put a percentage on each, I would say I use the bow mount motor 88% of the time. And I use the pedal 11 to 12% of the time. And then I use the paddle maybe 0 to 1%.
That seems high.
The paddle, I don't even bring the paddle most of the time. I have the pedals on there all the time. They kind of just live on the boat. And I pretty much just use them to back off of the spot. You can absolutely get away with that thing just motor only. I just feel more comfortable having that extra little dial of tunage by having the pedal access. So that's my opinion. If you're considering it, definitely check it out. Some interesting things with bow mount motors we're going to talk about later today, because I saw a crazy new one too. But
go to the next comment.
Below Chris. RAR? Which one? Yeah. Oh, y'all should have seen me. I punched a moth. Oh, yeah.
He did.
RAR did. I watched it happen. I wish I had slow-mo footage of this. He concussed a moth.
I rescued it, though, guys. Don't worry.
Paul let it out the door. It was a rescue mission.
It was a rescue mission. It's always a rescue mission. You a cop?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we have a lot to get through, y'all.
Wait. Before we do that, real quick, Photo Bob says the Hobie sunglasses are the best thing you showed. Thank you. Some vindication. The rest of the internet is like, you can get prescription sunglasses for 4 cents. And
if you think the kayak comments were bad, go over to our TikTok right now and look up the sunglasses video. It's got like 150,000 views. Go look at the comments. They are asinine. The amount of just like, I didn't watch this video.
Back us up, you guys. Go into TikTok, drop some positive comments on the Hobie sunglasses one. It's our most second motor. It's before the cooler one. It was our morning post today, I think it was. Was it right to drop today? Anyways, it's at like 130,000 views, which is unfortunate because when you go above 10,000 views on TikTok, the buttholes come into town. So there's a whole bunch of just douchebags in our comments right now saying nonsense, and I'm just over it.
They won't stop either. Like, I'm kind of like,
mentally, I can't respond to any more of these comments. But if you want to go in there and just like tirade against some losers in the comments, feel free. We appreciate it. Thank you so much. Especially the guy who was like, clip-on sunglasses have existed since glasses were invented.
Someone's trying to compare a pair of Warby Parker sunglasses to fishing specific prescription sunglasses.
I've owned 3 Warbies. I hate them. They're trash, but all right. It's fine. It's fine. We're going to get into the show now.
This is like somebody being like, I bought a little Tykes kayak boat in 1944, and that's the same exact thing as the Hobie Pro Angler 14 pedal. Same thing, but that was 6,000. Where fishing was way better when it was simple. Where are you from, bro? What are you doing?
That was like, I'm trying to pinpoint your accent there. It was kind of
Adam
Sandler-ish.
Donald Trump after he did a somersault down the stairs.
It was like Trump Sandler, Colonel Sanders.
The other 1% of the brain. We have a ton of stuff to get through, you guys.
Let's get into the show, dude.
Let's get into the show. And this is going to have to be very fast.
Oh, we're going to
looking at Jeff's notes. They are thorough. They are thorough.
Hey, man. I did it. Paul was like, I got a showing and I'm busy. Please do notes. So I had to do some notes. I had my buddy here to help me out. All right. So let's go through. We're talking best new. We're just going to call it like best new things that we saw. And these are all things that we actually had our hands on. Did we miss some things at ICAST? Absolutely. ICAST expanded this year. The booths actually went all the way back further than they normally do. We didn't even make it past Bamboo Bear, which was like halfway to the back of the back. So we did the best we could. I heard Rafi was there with Grande Bass. We didn't even run into him. So sorry, Rafi, would have said hi. Ran into Cupcake Coley, said hi to her. But like the rest of the booths, we could not even dabble with. So we did the best we could. But let's talk about some of the new stuff.
We worked like sun up till sundown. Like
literally, we went past. When everybody started
drinking. I was up till midnight.
Lights. Everybody started drinking at their booths. We just kept filming around them because we didn't finish our content. So we had to keep going. But anyways, let's start with some. You were holding 2 beers and I was like, I got the camera out. I was like, here you go, Paul. And you're like, where do I hold that? I was like,
bet.
Open wide, boy. So let's get into this. Oh no, Herbie. No. Let's talk about baits first.
All right, let's hit the baits. So one of the coolest things we saw, first of all, got a chance via RAR and the guys over at Bait Finesse Empire were able to do an introduction with Euro Tackle. They have a BFS swim bait and really just like a smaller size swim bait that you could use for conventional as well, and a whole bunch of other stuff you're going to see in the baits video. But Jeff got a chance to fish it. Thoughts?
Well, that's not this one.
Oh, the Notch?
You're talking about the baby Giron. So RAR gave me a baby Giron when we were in Florida. I did fish that, and I had a freaking killer day on that. It's a little baby bluegill jointed glide bait. It's got a single joint in it. The action on that thing, insane. This was not new. This is, I don't think it's RAR, tell me, but it's been out, I think, for a little while. Get one. Just get one. I know they're not cheap. I caught so many fish on that this weekend, and I don't like fish baby. Well, I've tried to fish baby glides. We have a couple baby glides, and I've never had like luck on them, similar to my swim bait journey.
Yes.
But I crushed on the baby Giron. Which
is by Jackal. So the Euro Tackle one is the Naj.
Yeah.
And which is, I think, fresh or French for fish. Was that?
Yeah, it's a multi-jointed, so it's not a glide. It's a multi-jointed swim bait. It is like roughly yay big. Like it's so itty bitty. The detail's insane. Euro Tackle is just freaking crushing it. That thing is awesome. So definitely check that out.
Thank you, RAR. I knew it was French for something. I was close-ish. Not really at all.
So Nage, French for swimming. There we go. Also, they have a 4.5-inch edition, so you can get both sides.
And they have I think it was like, how much was their rod? It wasn't $100, was it? I think it was $100.
Their rod?
The BFS rod, the Euro Tackle one.
We're going to get to that. It's later.
Oh, sorry.
I think I put it down with rods. Yeah, I did.
All right.
We'll get to it.
All right.
Stay with baits. We got to stay organized.
Okay.
So next up, the Rebel Plastics. I didn't expect them to be a TPE. So
that
they are,
means Z-Man stretchy.
yeah, Z-Man stretchy, but they don't get waterlogged. So a lot of different brands are kind of using these different kind of TPEs, stretchy, durable, a little more buoyant materials. Some of them get a little more waterlogged than other ones. This one shouldn't. Now, we haven't fished with it, so I won't quote it on that, but that's what we were told. We are going to get some in hand. We're going to be able to test those out. Just want to say, just getting our hands on them, really, really nice. They got a craw, they got a little Ned plastic, little stick bait, they got a paddle tail, they had a bunch, like, whole line.
They've got an emerger. It's not a Ned, it's like a dragonfly emerger. It's sick.
Yeah, that was really cool. So we
and
thought
they have
those
their own Ned head. It's a keg shape, so it's like a hybrid between a ball head and a football head.
Yeah, it's like a cylindrical football head instead of being oval. Anyways, super cool stuff. Liked it a lot. The last second thing that surprised us was Savage Gear's booth. Now, we've never been like hype on Savage Gear, like ever. We also got to hang out at the airport with Nick, the informative fisherman, who's with Savage Gear and is designing most of these baits, as well as a ton of baits for a ton of other companies that you wouldn't even know unless you actually talk to him or talk to the designers. So this guy's got his hands on stuff. Also, he's freaking amazing at like fishing. So just, yeah, guy knows what he's doing. I really liked, he just posted about it today too. I commented on his post, but their line through swim bait that they have is nuts. It's absolutely insane.
They have one that's like 2.5 inches.
Yeah, they have different sizes of all of these. They got ones with their pulse tail, the little like it similar to like a Huddleston, a wedge tail, but they had another one too that was like a single jointed soft bait line through with a head chamber, so easy line through. And I think it had didn't have a dress treble off the back of that one.
It could. So you had options actually on how you would, because you could go below, you could go above as well.
Yeah, so that multiple options. That was really cool bait. Stay tuned on that. They also had a topwater walking bait with a magnet system in it that made it, instead of sitting like this in the water, if you guys have ever fished topwater walking baits, they usually like drop down, right? And that can be good for strikes, but sometimes too, it's good to just have something different. This thing sits on top of the water.
It's and for also, fishing pads when you have really high grass.
Shallow cover, yeah, you want to have this type of option too. Castability insane. I was watching videos on it.
So sick. They had a clear one so you could see how it worked. It was bananas. You guys will see it in the video. It was really cool. Super impressed, actually.
Z-Man had 1 million drops like they do every year. Z-Man just blows me away because they're like, here's 50 new things that you'll probably like. And they're not
all
wrong.
Sick. Yeah.
And they're all sick. Their funniest one though was the one that won Best in Show, which was their
prawn
big
star.
Prawn star. the packaging was just
it's money. And the one best in category, which is a difficult category. And they did have so they had some finessey stuff. They have some a new worm that's going to fit into their BFS lineup. There's quite a few things. Z-Man just honestly, there's like very few companies that I would like hop on board with as far as like baits go, even if they have to be like exclusive or semi. Z-Man's one of the very, very few because they just release stuff that works. It's not expensive. It's always value conscious. And then they just don't really miss. They have like 1 or 2 misses, but like for the most part, they only hit home runs.
Yeah, they're crushing it. I also like that they're taking their chatter spike line and expanding it. So the joints on the chatter spike, they've added a flat tail version. They have a ballers version on there as well. So it's got like a ball on the tip of the tail.
I think the Shadtron won, not Prawn Star.
No,
or did they win?
Prawn Star won soft lure, saltwater soft lure, I think it was. The Shadtron may have won, but
I need to go look that up. I think they might have won too. Give me a minute, guys. I'll look it up for you.
So the Prawn Star was in the booth for the tops. I don't know if Shadtron won as well. Point is, Z-Man dropped a whole bunch of cool stuff. You always got to check the Z-Man booth. They're always like right up front. If you ever do go to ICAST, you'll have a good time at their booth. And they have like demos and you can like test all the baits in their water too, which is awesome. There were some cool drops from Spro as well. Not so in on their reel. I wasn't a huge fan of the reel for $230. I think I'm out. But their lures.
Not at the price point.
Not at that price point. It doesn't make any sense.
Freshwater soft, Shadtron line through, saltwater soft, Prawn Stars. They did win 2, and they won salt and fresh.
Dude, double up. Love to see it. Rar asked if we like the drop kickers. So I had my hands on a prototype of the drop kickers a year ago when I fished with Jose in Tampa Bay. Thought they were pretty neat then, think they're pretty neat now. I would have to see where I'm gonna fish it differently versus like all my other drop shots. I think it's cool. I feel like I'm grabbing the trick shots for if it's a Z-Man drop shot like 9 times out of 10. But yeah, I would like to test it out more. So I'd like to get some in hand, try out the colors.
Power guys, though, I can definitely see it. And
sure,
I don't know if you really need to do it as a drop shot.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of options for that. Also, its size, like really nice on underspins, just jigs, straight up on a jig, swim it. You know, there's a lot of options.
Exactly.
It's pretty sweet. So back to Spro, they dropped the Micro Little John. That is a bait that I really want to get my hands on. Flat side, micro, like could easily run BFS, square bill, shallow diving crankbait. Dude, it's freaking, it was nuts. Their colors, great. That was definitely like their prime drop, I would say. And then we also ran into our guy over at Bambooey Bear, who is making some freaking moves. Made a little deal with bait fuel, so they're using his injector system now. They didn't steal that. That's his, licensed. So they're working with him. That's cool to see. Like a collaboration, versus just a straight up copy. And then he dropped some baits this year. We've liked some of the terminal stuff that he's used in the past, but he dropped this thing called the Scoochie Worm, which
I was at first like, we didn't need that. And then I realized hollow body cavity, and then it's meant to be injected easily, and it releases the bait fuel so slowly, like over time. He had the most disgusting tank because it was just full of the slowly released stuff. It was awesome. So kudos to him. I'm just really happy to see somebody like hustling with a good idea and then getting to sell it, make some money, and go on to the next thing. He's got good stuff. Good for him, man.
Scoochie Worm is available on Tackle Warehouse. If you guys go check it out, just look up Bambooey Bear. It's BAMBUIE. Pretty cool stuff. He's got more baits. He's got this giant bait that he likes to call a drop shotable bait. And I'm like, maybe in some places, but this is like a 4.5 inch swim bait.
Yeah.
It looks pretty neat. Also, Twisted Tackle, I do believe, I'm not surprised that we didn't run into. We literally sprint around. If nobody has seen us at ICAST, we run around. We ran into a few folks. Ask RJ and Fishtails. Like we were cruising to the Daiwa booth and we ran right into them. And they were like, "Oh, hey, how's it going? Nice to see you. Bye." And then we just like zipped off.
Yeah,
how it goes for us, man.
Even I think Yak Attack was like, "Missed you at the booth." I was like, "We filmed there. I was looking at you guys." And then we were in and out, man.
They did a professional film and we had to wait for them. And then we zoomed in and we filmed at their kayak and then we ran away from Yak Attack. We're like, we did it. Okay, bye. It was hard to like talk to people. I wish we had an extra day just to like talk to people.
I could, we all I want 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Let's do kayaks.
100%. Sorry. Kayaks. The theme of this year. All right. So what's new with kayaks? Well, first of all, we already talked about our feelings on it. Kayak versus boat. I don't care what you define it as.
We thought nothing, though. We thought, I was like,
I didn't think anything was going to drop. Yeah.
Nothing.
So what did drop? We got the Bonafide XTR 130, which we found out while at ICAST after the on the water day, because it was not on the water. They didn't bring it to the pond. So it was not in the demo pond. And then we got a message later on. Somebody was like, "What do you think of the new Bonafide?" I was like, "What new Bonafide?"
The what he wasn't?
And then we saw it the next day. And yeah, it is as bonkers as it looks in that video and then some. That is a kayak that packs about as much as you could ever consider putting onto a kayak.
Designed for 2 people. There's a whole front deck for you to stand on with a motor on the front of it. Yeah, it's a very modern design, huge kayak. It's a monster, and it's meant to be pretty flexible. So I think it's kind of their answer to the New Canoe Unlimited. It's just my opinion, and kind of showcases the best that they have in design right now.
Yep. No, 100%. NASA man liked the Berkeley Minnow, looks cool. Not a kayak, but you're right. That was kind of a cool bait. I saw it. I just, I don't know. I don't feel like it's new, which is why I didn't talk about it. I'm sure they got their own like unique spin on it. And I saw Zona was all over the place talking about it, and he demoed it. We're gonna get it. Like we'll try it out. And I think wasn't that Strike King, the homing minnow?
Yeah.
I think it's Strike King. But yeah, anyways, worth checking out later on. So Bonafide XTR, I was really impressed with it. $2,800 kind of blows my mind for what it actually packed into it. I think it's a good value. Is it for everybody? Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
No.
It's huge. Like
it's not for me. Frankly, I would not even want one. I recognize the value and I think it's cool, but it's not for me. It's not how I want to fish. It's just not for me, but it's sick.
It's close to how I want to fish. Like, like if Bonafide was like, "Hey, do you want this? Like, do you want it for, the channel?" I'd be like, "Sure, absolutely." Yeah. So I'm not going to say no, I wouldn't fish it, but I also personally right now, it doesn't really fit the arsenal.
You absolutely need a trailer.
Yes, this is one. So right now,
170 pounds with one seat and nothing else and no people, and it's friggin' long.
It's the same weight as my Titan X. However, it's longer than my Titan X. So right now, I am truck loading my Titan X. I don't have wheels. I'm working on some with Boondocks potentially, and I don't have a trailer. So can it be truck loaded? Yes, I found a pretty simple method to do that. This boat might be pushing the limits on that. I think I could do it.
Once it's kitted out,
once it's kitted out, I don't think so. I don't think it's happening. So that definitely needs a trailer. I'm not in a position to get a trailer right now. Maybe next year. We'll see. This next boat, however, has really got Paul and I's wheels spinning. Now, we knew about this before ICAST, but it's still new this year. The U10, new canoe U10. Why are our wheels spinning about this? At first, Paul, I believe you were out. You were like, unlimited, don't need it. And then you didn't fish out of it, but we demoed it at the pond. And New Canoe dropped some insane new upgrades. We got to check out their front pod system. We think that's really cool. And having used it, taking it on and off, super simple. You pack a fish finder into that thing. You can disconnect your entire fish finder. Insane.
And your stuff. Like a whole bunch of accessories. And you just three screws, open. And you pick the whole thing up. And then it goes right to the other kayak. You plug it in. Like it's smart.
It is really smart. The cool thing we saw about New Canoe and New Canoe folks in here already got this, and they've probably been trying to tell us for years, is that they're simplifying the process. Like everything is about simplification, plug and play. Plug and play is like their term out. They're like, we want to own plug and play for kayaks, and we think that's cool. On that note, they have a new steering system for your stern mount motors that is absolutely bananas. Like it turns on a dime, and it's a single, instead of having 2-foot steering, it's a single foot steering method where you push forward to go left, back to go right. I think it's one to go one way, one to the other. And the rear mount, they've made a lighter mount than like the standard one
system. It's wild. It is. You basically get rid of the entire bracket, everything about your Torqeedo or your Newport motor. All you keep is the stem and the prop. Everything else goes away. What they have on the transom, the EPS system, is like a quarter of the size and weight, and it's one pin, one unplug. The whole motor system comes off, and it's plastic, so it doesn't weigh nearly as much, and it's heavy duty. It is genius. It will save lives at the boat ramp of people trying to load and unload one of those kayaks and motors. I'm telling you right now. And then in a 10-foot, the idea would be you get 2 EPS systems, you get one pod, and then you can actually just transfer the motor back and forth as easily as one pin in and out if you have another New Canoe. So being able to go from a 12-foot to a 10-foot river, load and go, have an ultralight, but hey, you want to throw the motor on it. Like you're saving yourself thousands by going with a really inexpensive kayak that you can buy accessories only once and just easily transfer them as you want. And you basically get like, it's like Lego-ish plug and play to make the kayak that you want for the day that you think you're going to have. So I think that's very compelling. Also, the fact that it's under $1,500, it's like $1,600 for the U10, I think is a ridiculous deal. And then if you want to get into a 12-footer, it's still like $2,000. So it's like the cost to get a 12-foot super wide, super stable, open hull is just really cheap. And then you throw on the EPS system, and all of a sudden it's a huge unlock.
I wonder how the That's Not a Kayak folks feel about the U10. They still
it's 100% a kayak, but they're just not.
They're still gonna argue.
They're only. You know what it's like? You know that pill where you use like 1,000% of your brain, or we use 100% of your brain or whatever?
Yeah.
It's like they never got the pill that lets them use 1% of their brain.
Okay. Side note. NASA man wants to know what's your favorite type of fish to eat. Segue. What's your favorite type of fish to eat, Paul?
It's gonna be like redfish or sea trout.
Yeah. So if we can go beyond, I would say saltwater fish most of the time to me tastes 100%. Better than freshwater.
No question. I love a bluegill. I love a pike. I love a perch.
Love a crappie. Love a walleye.
I love a smallmouth bass sandwich. But I'm telling you right now, none of that touches sea trout ceviche.
Just doesn't. Man.
Can't be done.
Yeah, dude, that bonita
catfish is great.
Bonita ceviche that I had when I went to Mexico, so good.
Yeah, insane.
So good. Fresh as it can be. All right, there was one more kayak that I want to talk about. So New Canoe U10, absolutely a blast. We're really heavily considering making some switches in our lineup and maybe going to one of these, or each of us going to one of these. So we'll talk about that. If
New Canoe would hook it up, I'd go to a 10 and a 12, and I would ditch my Old Town even, get rid of the pedals entirely even, and I would ditch my Crescent. Both of them probably.
Totally fair. And I think there's some conversations in our future, so let's do that. There's another kayak, though, that really kind of blew our minds.
The interest.
Dude, Wilderness Systems, first of all, where you been for a decade? Second of all, thanks for coming back. Nice to see you. Third of all, they're sending us an iAttack inflatable. So that one actually dropped at ICAST last year, but didn't become available till March of this year. So we will be using that. It should be it's in the mail now. Like I should have that boat maybe this weekend. I will have an Isle Flywater, which is in the next category, by tomorrow. So that's happening. But the Wilderness Systems Tactical Pro 128 got a lot of love on the videos that we posted about it. Think about it this way. Like, what other kayak do you know of that comes pre-wired for your motor? None. There aren't any. That's why it's amazing. This thing is $2,200, $2,199. Super stable, very spacious, much, less kitted out at base level than the Bonafide XTR 130. However, it's the appropriate amount of kit, we feel. And it has some really cool little luxuries, like the bait bins, like right in the front in the cockpit. Like, that's freaking cool. The offset of the bow mount motor, so you can actually access your cargo in the front. Insane. And at $2,200 wired, you're not competing on value with that kayak. It is one of the highest value kayaks I've ever seen. No pedal option.
$2,300.
21.99. But like, there's
insane.
Well, maybe you're right. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I remember that. But anyways, point is, no pedal option. It's a paddle, but it's it's built for motor. But there's also a stern motor mount. You can put power poles off the back. Like, you can do whatever you want. They had it kitted out with 2 power poles, a stern mount motor, a bow mount motor, and 2 sonars on there. Which, by the way, reminds me of another, maybe even funnier comment that we kept getting on the XTR. They're like, $2,800. It includes those motors, those graphs. And I was like, yo, like, you can't, that's not a serious comment, is it? Like, are you telling me you think the kitted out version is $2,800? Kind of insane. Also, what the hell? Anyways, so the Wilderness Tactical Pro 128, dude, that thing is sweet. You guys absolutely need to check that thing out. Not available yet. I believe they said March of next year, which I think also isn't the XTR slotted in for October. XTR was October, right?
Yep.
So XTR is October. U10's already out from New Canoe. Wilderness Tactical Pro 128 next year, going to be happening around March. DeBurley AAA hype man in the room. I want the XTR 130. Solves a problem of when my wife wants to go fish and get sun, or I can kick her out. The Tactical is a banger too, and the Wilderness Crate, like I've been saying, you have been saying that, DeBurley, that is also in the mail with our iAttack. So we will have the Wilderness Crate, and we'll be using it. Not a new product, so we're not talking about it today, but like, we're going to be getting that. And finally, we can settle the kayak crate madness that we started a couple of years ago when we only had like 1 or 2 types of crates. You bought a Flambeau, so we had the Flambeau, we had the Blackback Pro, we tried a whole bunch of other ones, and we got the Wilderness. Arguably like top 3 right there. And we're going to showcase one that we've been sitting on for like a long time called a source crate. So we're going to be talking about that. I feel really bad about that. I'm sorry, my guys. But we will also show that one off, which is pretty cool. Let's go to rafts. Inflatables, which also I think people struggled. They struggled with the definition of these as well.
People are so mad that they're calling it a kayak skiff hybrid, and it's
like, oh well, let's hit that. So the Isle Flywater 126, which is in the mail, is a narrow width raft, helping it lean into a category of a hybrid sup kayak because the base level of it is a sup, and adding walls around a sup can be considered making it a kayak. Also, get over the definitions.
Catamaran.
Freaking cares. Anyways, Isle Flywater 126.
Yourself into the sun.
Just yeet yourself. All right. So, what do we think of the Isle Flywater 126, Paul? What are your thoughts on that?
I love the 126. I think that as a 2-person, travel with like a backpack of gear per person. And then once you get a motor on that thing and you're ripping around, you know what? It's really hard to, like, the amount of leg room alone just justifies it. I'm going to just kick my legs off the front because it's freaking nuts. And you guys are going to see, I think you see it in the kayak video where they have their material is like 5 times. They won an award from Popular Science magazine for this material that they use on the bottom of the tubes. And they use it is insane. And on the transom, it's 5 times more rigid and durable than normal material that they use from inflatables. And what they use from inflatables is very durable. This is 5 times more durable and more sturdy. So you can watch us mess around with that and see the difference. This thing is crazy, and it's only $1,400 for like the base model when it actually releases. $1,600 for like the pre-release. They're a little more expensive with the early models, but $1,400. It only weighs 48 pounds. It's 12 and a half feet. They have a captain's, like, metal captain's chair if you want to upgrade to that. It fits into a duffel, a rolling duffel, and they leave room in that for you to pack your own stuff. You can use an electric battery or the manual pump. It's just really cool. I'm excited to try it. And we're talking to Bixby. We're going to talk about this later. There's a big battery that has a little more thrust and twice as much battery life. We're going to try and throw that on the back. And I honestly think that you guys are going to be really surprised with the level of quality and what we're able to do with that thing. It is going to be wild.
It also upgrades your thrust for the Bixby from 33 pounds to 38, which is pretty nice.
I'll take it, right? Honestly, we should be able to, with one person, I think, easily, we should be able to get, I think, 5 miles an hour out of the bigger Bixby with one person in it. And then just like your stuff, maybe even more, honestly. If you think about it, guys, the Crescent Light Tackle 2, which is what I have the Newport on right now, that has a 1.5 thrust motor. It's a little bit horsepower thrust motor. A little bit bigger than the Bixby, but not that much. That kayak weighs 70 pounds empty, okay? This whole thing weighs 48 pounds empty, and it's longer. And there's actually less kayak in the water because it's a catamaran design. That's insane.
Yeah, I'm excited to really put it to the test. Had some questions in the chat about a few of these things I wanted to hit really quick. So Chris Russ, jumping back to the kayak stuff, I want to make sure I get your question here, buddy. So how did stability compare on the XTR? I don't know because the XTR was not demoed. So I have not been on the XTR. However, we did talk to Georgia Bassmaster, who is with Bonafide. He was part of the launch of this thing. He's been out of it. He says it's insane, and I trust that guy. So I believe it's insane. And looking at it, like, I watched 2 dudes. He's not a small guy. And he was in a boat with like their other not small guy. If you guys have seen any install videos from Bonafide or Native, I forget his name, but the other guy with the long hair, they were both in this boat together. Both guys over 6'2", like,
they're both
built, and they were just
dudes.
standing, fishing all over the thing. Trust me, it's going to be insane.
Well, they had Gene in the back, and they had
Hoover and Gene
Hoover in the front.
In this
so,
thing,
what are you worried about?
Nothing will compare to the XTR. The tactical is stable as heck, but it's not going to be more stable.
The Flywater has a 700 pound or 600 pound weight capacity.
Let's talk about kayaks, man. Not inflatables.
They're both kayaks, man.
Not rafts. We're going to start doing this so people in the comments calm down.
And by Jeff, for those who are listening, is making air quotes with his fingers.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, audio folks. Anyways, so So we will be able to compare though, like rafts to kayaks. We can do a stability test, but rafts, you guys, if you've never been on one, they're insanely
They're
stable.
coming, bro. We talked about boat 3 years ago, and we're like, dude, this is too good to ignore. Like, it can't weigh this little and do this much. The boat has a pedal drive inside of their inflatable. Look, this stuff is coming, and look, like when I go to our cabin or whatever for vacation, I'm like, well, I'm not sure if I'm going to fish or not, and maybe I don't have a truck, and like, you don't want to bring like a whole kayak with all your crap. You bring a backpack full of gear. You bring 1 or 2 fishing rods, and then you bring this duffel bag with a whole boat and a motor in it. Like, what are we talking about? The whole thing weighs 60 pounds. Like, the fart. It's a great idea. I think it's genius. These are just going to get better and better.
It's pretty nuts. Also, somebody asked about here it is. SFL Reel-In. How's the fly water compared to the Light Skiff Air? I have never looked at the Light Skiff Air, but I looked it up. It's on Tiny Boat Nation right now.
I responded to him. I said, no idea.
Well, that's great. I was going to go into a little more detail.
And I said, don't know anything about Skiff Air.
Looking at it now, with the sidewalls on the tubes there, it's definitely more standard raft looking to me. It's pretty cool that this one, at least on TBN, Tiny Boat Nation, includes a bunch of accessories. That's pretty neat. That. It doesn't really have it does kind of have, I think those are that's for the oars. So it doesn't have like accessory panels on it, but it does have a bow mount option. It looks pretty cool. Honestly, I wouldn't know unless I actually used both of these. So I can't give too much info, but if anybody wants to look at the Light Skiff Air, it looks pretty neat. And we'll get you as much experience as we can on the Flywater because we'll actually have that in hand and we can definitely use that. Okay. Eye Attack also, we talked about a little bit. So we'll be getting one of those from Wilderness. And that leaves one more raft.
The Eye Attack is sick because it's super small. It's super light. And it's a single person, but it has a real seat. It has an actual seat. So we're going to get that one on the river.
It has a really nice seat too. It's one of the flip down. It's got a standing spot on it. So you can like get a higher vantage and it's going to be super stable. I'm stoked about that. It doesn't have a motor mount option. I don't think. Maybe we can figure that out.
Well, let me look at it. It does have a mounting bar in the front.
Maybe there's a plate you can put on the back or something. I would definitely love to see if we could put even just the Bixby on this thing, but
we could put the Bixby in the fin.
We can. Yep. There's a fin adapter for Bixby's that you can get. So we could do that. So we could put a Bixby on it. I don't know. Otherwise, I'm sure it paddles great. We're going to find out. We're going to flip around and find out when we actually get that thing in. I'm excited about it. All right. Last raft I wanted to get to for you guys that we looked at that was really cool and we got to actually use on demo day was the new Newport raft. I don't know if you guys know this. I didn't. Newport's been making rafts for a long time. Lots of inflatables, but they're that standard kind of shorter, wider, designed for like 4 to 6 people or whatever. Those types of rafts, the bigger ones, you can get 8+ in there. Now they're trying to make more of this like hybrid raft, hybrid to more like a kayak almost. Their NS 130 was insane. There's a ton of track on it, adjustable seat. It's a boat seat. It's not even a kayak seat. It's like an actual padded boat seat. And it's rated for, I believe he said it was up to 5 or 6 horsepower. So you could throw the brand new, we'll talk about it in a second, the NT600 drop in from Newport, or otherwise 5 horsepower equivalent motor on this thing. And it rips. It absolutely rips on those. Paul, you're making a face. What are you making a face for?
So you cannot do like a 4-square bolt on the back of the Eye Attack. That said, you could put the Bixby in the fin, no problem. It's just not as good because you can't like pull it up if you needed to. But really, I've never had to do that. So like on a lake, I wouldn't see that as a problem. And in the river, I don't really want it anyways. This thing, you guys, the one thing it's hard to explain until you get it. It's not like a tune. It doesn't have like 2 pontoons. It is shaped just like a kayak. It's 38 inches wide. It's 13 feet long. It weighs 44 pounds and it has a 650-pound weight capacity.
It's pretty bananas. It's gonna ride pretty empty because unless we get the fin adapter for the Bixby, like we're just throwing tackle in there and we're rolling.
It's gonna fly.
It's gonna be neat. I'm excited to use that thing. It does have a skeg attachment as well, so it'll track pretty good. even though it's flat.
And it has like a front skeg.
Yeah. It's like a bumper skeg at the front. Bass hole NH. Yes, you just missed the XCR.
You sure did. Go hit rewind.
We did a diatribe on it already. Sorry, we got to keep moving, man. We got a lot to talk about, but it's in the episode. You can check that part out. Motors. Let's talk about motors. We'll do it briefly because I know not everybody's here for motors, but I wanted to point these things out. So the NT600 coming out from Newport.
Bro.
We saw that thing. It's 52 pounds.
The display is insane. It's 50 pounds. It's a 6.5 or 6 horsepower equivalent motor.
Yep.
It's freaking sweet. Now
Adjustable
it is a transom
tiller.
mount. It's got a fully adjustable tiller. Bluetooth enabled, so it gives you how fast you can go. It's freaking incredible. I really want one so badly, and I want to put it on something small, and I want
an NS130
throw up trying to tell me what it is. Freaking idiots.
People will lose their mind.
Is it a kayak, or is it a boat, or is it a spaceship?
Why didn't you buy a bass boat from 1976?
I did, you idiot.
I did. All right. So next up, I want to call out Bixby's coming out with updates on their.
I'm going to start saying, people, why didn't you buy a kayak? You spent $70,000 on a bass boat, and all you call Why didn't you buy a kayak?
Watch the boat ramp fails, and then your comment on the boat ramp fail.
Why didn't you buy? Should have bought a kayak.
If you bought a kayak, that wouldn't have been an issue. Good luck putting your 5,000-pound boat back onto a trailer, buddy. All right, so I wanted to point out. Bixby updated their battery, the big battery. We're going to try and get our hands on it. And they have a firmware update for the motors. I think it's cool that like they update.
They're big on the firmware updates.
So I'm going to update. Well, you have it. You need to update it at some point.
Sure do.
I'm going to call out something interesting. Bow mount motors for kayaks. Up until today, there's been one singular option. You get a Motor Guide XI3 or nothing else, or you make your own. Because you need a 36-inch shaft for the bow mount motor. And normally for boats, they're like 55 inches, 45, 55. It's too long, right? That's a long shaft. You need a short shaft for a kayak. Because you're a short shaft boy. Short shaft is kayak. So somebody in the comments was like, yo, the XI3 is going away. And I was like, what are we talking about? It's still available everywhere. Does anybody know about this? Is the XI3 going away? Talk to me. And why, if it's the only kayak bow mount option, makes no sense. Here's the problem.
You could be looking at the XI4. That doesn't mean anything.
Great. That's awesome. So then no issue. This person was like, I'll never be able to get one again. I was like, that
won't, because they'll have a 4 and they'll be totally
different. Then you get the 4, right? And good. I'd love to see an update to it because it's been out for a long time.
Exactly.
Their GPS could be much better, and it also could stop trying to throw people out of their boats with spot lock. That'd be nice. The power pole move just dropped a 36-inch. It's $5,000. I just don't. How is that going to fit in the kayak? We got to spend that $4,000 or $3,700 other dollars we would save if we got an XI3 on our sonar and on other things, or on the kayak itself. $5K is insane for a kayak motor. That's
more than a kayak and a motor in a lot of instances. So if you went and bought a Newport, a huge battery, and the Crescent Light Tackle 2, it would still be less than that.
It's going to have all the features their normal ones do, and they have a lot of features. They're very adjustable. You can adjust it on your phone. Pretty cool stuff. 5K is just not it yet. So I thought that was interesting. I called it out, but that was a new thing at the show too.
And then someone's going to tell me to go buy a boat.
Mm-hmm. Because their trolling motor is $5K to start.
Wait, no. Trolling motors for boats are way more than that.
The power pole move is affordable for a boat, but from what I saw on the web, I'm just looking at the website,
a boat,
but not for a kayak.
No,
but you're right. Good trolling motors, you're right, 100%. They are insanely priced. But hey, whatever. They know everything.
It's the same thing.
Paul's been getting bombarded with evil comments today, you guys. He's very cranky about it.
A lot of it.
I am too. I hate it. So Torqeedo updated their motor as well. It looks pretty neat. They got a new battery. It's got a single wire coming out of it.
Low pro battery is insane.
No.
Oh no, Torqeedo. I got you.
Yes. We're getting to
that's been out for 6 months.
The new Torqeedo. Yeah, nobody talks about it.
Because Torqeedo's not pumping it up. So Torqeedo, you guys, just so you know, they were bought by Honda or by
Yamaha.
And so they are basically waiting to see what Torqeedo can do on their own before they
Yep.
jump in and do anything. So Torqeedo is like not spending anything on marketing dollars. They're just trying to sell what they have. They're not paying, they're literally doing nothing. They're just trying to make the balance sheet look really good for as long as possible.
Yep.
And then you're gonna see some changes here pretty soon. It's
Like
probably gonna be
next
another
year.
6 months before we see anything from them. They are like a turtle in their shell right now.
Yeah. So that's why we haven't heard anything. But we saw it. It was pretty neat.
It looks nice. Look, the Torque. I'll give this to Torqeedo. When it comes to fit, finish, and polish, they're very, very nice, and the design is nice. And they were the ones who designed the bracket. That is exactly the same one that Newport has. The concepts exactly the same as what Newport has. Newport has done more faster because they're a younger company and they weren't bought out. So we're just sitting. It's going to be a year, probably 6 months to a year before you hear anything new out of Torqeedo.
We'll see. Real quick on the note of motors, I would like to talk about foot steering for 5 seconds. The new foot steering from Bonafide for $150 with all the cable you need is insane. And the new one from New Canoe, we already talked about earlier in the show on the U10,
they're both incredible.
Insane.
I did videos on both of them. So
I don't
impressed.
even know which way to go with them, man. They're both really nice. Having the single foot option is pretty cool, but like the new peg style that Bonafide came out with in conjunction with Ramel from Newport, they worked together to design this thing. It's insane. It solves a lot of problems.
So it's on rollers on a track. So there's 4
super
ball
smooth
bearing wheels, very smooth, handles the thrust very well. It's like pegs on a bike instead of a flat pedal. It means that no matter what, you're going to get a secure footing on it. And then you can actually, they're so smooth. In fact, you can stand up and just lift your toes up and just push them back and forth and make smaller adjustments. And you can actually do it by standing. You can basically handle this, hands free, stand and steer your motor. It's really nice.
They're working on another option for standing and fishing in the XTR that'll be foot powered. It will actually be a mini bass boat, and I would almost do it just to really make the commenters super mad.
The pedal from New Canoe would work if you were standing.
Yeah, you're right, 100%. And people on the internet would hate that, so we should definitely do it.
Freaking PO'd.
All right, moving on. Let's get to rods and reels real quick. Just a couple we wanted to call out here. There were lots of other ones. I didn't even get to get a good look at the Lose LFS stuff, so I have no idea. Somebody was asking about that in chat.
That's one of the big misses for us.
The LFS rods drop,
but I kind of know what it is. It's a cheap rod.
But yeah, I don't know. I'd have to get my hands on it. No comment. But I thought it was neat. We were there on behalf of our buddy Doug from Fish NFX. So I want to give a shout out to Doug, and I think him and his crew did a great job with Fish NFX, their booth. The whole family was there. They're all working super hard. Those guys are great. Thank you so much to Doug for helping us get our badges this year to get into the show and have as much fun and make as much content as we did. Yeah. Freaking the rods are insane, super sensitive. I changed up my combos. I'm going to be fishing the Fish NFX medium heavy a lot. I fished it all day the other day. Very sensitive. I'm going to be Texas rigging on it mostly right now because our fish are finicky and lame. But that means it's going to land a lot of fish. And I can tell you, I love that thing. $500 value rod for $294. Going to be the most expensive rod we really feel good about on this channel talking about. But
black and gold.
Yeah. And it was a collaborative effort with our buddy Don from Autism Anglers. So freaking the man, the myth, the legend from American Custom Tackle putting in, all the work on this rod. It's insane. Definitely check it out. Worth a look on the videos. Euro Tackle has apparently $100 level ultralight and BFS rods. They've been out. It's not really new, but we just hadn't looked at them. We made good friends. We're good friends with obviously the Bait Finesse Empire guys.
This one
is that one new? That one is new. Okay, so that one is new. Take it back. We're gonna work on getting those. We're gonna try and get those. They're really, really nice rods. And the ultralight has a tip that is colored weird. Everybody hated when we did it. You're gonna love it when Euro Tackle does it. But theirs is a carbon tip, so it is sicker. It's better. Anyways, Halo. You guys have been telling us to look at Halo rods for a while. haven't got our hands on this. We almost didn't even look at this. We were just walking by, and I think Paul took a beeline. He was like, wait, what it is? And we looked at the Halo rod. $99 rod they have. It's killer. It's a really, really nice looking fishing rod. I want to fish that ASAP.
It's like the
$100.
XDR or something like that.
We're probably just going to be buying that one, to be real. But it's worth a look. American Bait Works. Maybe we make friends with American Bait Works. How hard could that be? Not that hard. TFO had a new professional update. So they took their TFO professional rod, which we've talked to you guys. We love the TFO professional. $120, $119. It's a freaking killer value. It's a very, very nice rod.
Okay.
They updated it. They made it better. That's all I can say. It's better. It just is. And it's going to be great. And we're going to try and get our hands on some and fish those as well and talk to you guys about them later. Same great price, updated value. They also made a American rod, which is cool. It was $365, so it's outside of our budget friendly hearts. I told you the most expensive rod we'll talk about right now, Fish NFX. But we'll look at the new professionals. And then we have the Cash-In Element. So Cash-In, we have the Icon BFS. That's what you have, Paul. And our opinion on them has always been like a little bit stiffer than you want for what we like to do with BFS. It's a little bit stouter, bigger feel than most BFS rods and ultralight rods out there. And like most folks in that space would agree. That said,
Saltwater finesse.
That one is saltwater finesse. They made the Element BFS, which is also a more affordable rod from them at $129. So $130 BFS. Lots of quality components. Still a little oversized. Still feels a bit stiffer. Hopefully they have more options.
Made in the USA.
Made in the US though. $130 made in the US. Like,
good for them. Cork grip made in the
crazy.
US. $130. Don't know what else you want.
Yep, it's pretty sweet. Let's go to reels. There was a decent number of reels that were new there. We didn't get to look at all of them, unfortunately, but a couple to throw in there. Sure, we'll talk about that one first. The Kayak MG12, I think, is just getting updates every year, kind of like the Tatula. The MG12 is an insane looking reel. We already talked to the guys at Kayak. We're going to get our hands on some. I'm just pumped. I want to put it on that Texas rig setup.
No, I want one so bad. I've wanted one since they came out. We talked about buying one back in the day.
Yep. So we'll work on that. They dropped an $80 BFS reel.
It's called the Valiant Eagle, and it is the Cast King Kestrel Elite, which is 220, but it is stripped out. It's carbon instead of magnesium, and it is almost as light. And really, frankly, guys, you don't need a magnesium frame BFS reel. It makes really no sense. It's nice to have, but like you don't need the stability.
Right.
The reel is not going to be fighting the fish. The rod and the line are, so it's really not needed. And then they fix the overbreaking, so you're getting all the things that you need out of the Cast King Kestrel Elite, which I really like, other than the overbreaking. Then they fix the overbreaking, so and it's $80, and that's production, so it should be available everywhere. That is going to be a sleeper drop that no one will talk about. And then years from now, it'll just always be the stock standard. That's just my opinion on what will happen in the future. And then they didn't do the wrinkly knobs that people don't like, so they went with the standard ones. I think they fixed all the issues people were worried about, and then the price point's insane.
Imagine listening to your audience.
And just doing simple drops. Like, this is nothing. They just went easy on this one.
We felt like Kayak King is, over the past like 3 to 5 years, is making a point of just solving problems that anglers have and complain about. And how cool is that? Because we used to hate on Kayak King like all day. We just dumped on.
Oh yeah.
Look at our reel comparison videos. Freaking insane. So they got that. Obviously, they got the iReel too. Now we've done feature videos on this. You're going to see more on it.
We see one in about 2 weeks.
We went through it with them at the booth. You'll see more about it there. They had a really cool display. iReel 2 is
the iReel 2 is insane, and when we do the video on it, everyone's going to call us idiots. But until you fish it, your opinion's not worth it. Sorry.
Yeah. There you go. Shimano Vanford update. Wouldn't know about that. Looks really sick. It's super
everyone's
smooth.
talking about it. It's a very nice reel.
Felt amazing in hands. Really nice. You know what else felt really, really nice as a reel? Tatula 100.
That's the same spool and braking system that the Steez has inside of a 100 size Tatula.
Yo, if Debo's getting excited about it, you know it's good. Get excited about it.
This will be the thing that changes. Other than the Steez, it was the smoothest reel that I used the whole week. And we got our hands on the Shimano. We went all around Shimano, and they had a couple of really banging reels, and none of them were as smooth as that TWSV.
No, dude, the Tatula, that reel might be the first Daiwa baitcaster I get. Might be. We'll
It's
see.
so nice.
It is.
It's 225,
I think
230,
so. 219, 220, something like that.
something like that.
I'm leaning on it. We'll see. The
Versus
Lose.
280 for the Lose Custom Pro. I'll tell you right now,
Yep.
it's not worth 280, in my opinion. Very cool-ish. I think that honestly, I go back and forth on Lose, and I think I'm just out 100%. I don't think I'll ever buy another Lose reel.
You
The
got it.
LFS is great. I've
You
got
gotta
some
take a
nice
step
stuff, but I'm dead.
5 seconds ago, you said if you haven't fished with it, your opinion is invalid, and then you
Yeah, I
just said
know.
Lose Custom
The
Pro.
Custom Pro, though, for the price and what
Yeah.
they're advertising, and I've held it, I would go the
So-
Tatula 100 all day.
I think the interesting thing is, and maybe we get our hands on both of these some magical way. Maybe we both find a gift card buried in our couch or whatever.
Sure.
But the Lose Custom Pro, people are just talking up that new braking system. So I am very curious to at least demo it.
The problem is that there's
like to
two.
see
They
how
have
it
the
works.
external and the internal, and that full mag braking system is just too much for everything else. Like, I don't know why you're paying 280 for that. It's the same centrifugal braking system that's in every other reel. You're just advertising it differently.
I got to see that one in hand. I will actually defend Lose in this case for the first time ever. I want to see it. I want to actually use it. It looks neat.
You do that.
The Fluger, there was a couple from Abu. Now we looked at their Abu came out with some Revo BFS reels. Got our hands on them. Got one of their designers to go through them with us. I think they look neat. I think their braking is like 5 years, 6 years old in BFS terms.
Well, and their spools are about 5 times heavier than they should be.
It's a little heavier. Seems kind of behind the times, honestly.
It's about 5 times heavier than a standard BFS spool.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like a BFS rod.
I think if you got one, you'd be very disappointed in BFS in general. And like size-wise, it's just not there. And then one of them, what was the other one? What was the other one that already exists? Xenon. There's a Xenon version.
Oh, the Xenon
$550. It's not even a BFS.
It has regular mag brakes. There's regular mag brakes on it.
I'm out. I'm all the way out.
There's no way. So, anyways, but
versus
one thing
asking centrifugal braking system, most modern one out there right now, makes it out of carbon. It's $80, and it will cast 10 times better than both of those.
Fair enough. We'll check. We will not check those out. We'll check out the casking, not the Abu ones. It's not going to happen for us. Fluger updated the president. The baitcaster is actually really heckin' smooth.
Sick.
And their updated Fluger spinning reel, also insane. So Fluger doing some cool stuff. Speaking of rods, I didn't mention it, but Ugly Stick got a facelift too. Still $50.
I don't understand what's different.
I couldn't figure out what was different.
The marketing is just the marketing, and I'm like,
and it should be like the GX2 too.
Yeah, why isn't it the GX2 squared or something? Why isn't
not
like what
GX3?
It's look,
feels like a logical
I
next
love
step.
A great Ugly Stick. I love that it's at the same price. Great job, but like, I don't understand why they won an award.
Yeah,
why did they win an award? Like, what did they do? It just says basically it's an Ugly Stick. Like, that's the whole marketing campaign. And I'm like, but what is different? So this could be ignorance on my side, but whatever.
Alejandro, we did test out the LTS. It's not in our reels footage. We didn't get to
the LTS is a reel from Bates, BATES. It is a $400 or $300 full aluminum bait caster.
Yep. Really cool. I'll be honest, like those Bates reels are amazing in hand. They feel amazing. Yeah. They're all like a bit smaller. Their goat obviously isn't, but the goat reel is like the one I would actually really want as like a swim bait reel or whatever. So I
thought no desire for a $500
I don't
reel.
Want to spend $400 on a BFS reel at all.
Oh God, no. There's no reason for it. Look, it looked nice. If you bought one, I think you got a really nice reel. I haven't used it with the correct line. You'll have to ask Rar Fishing. He would definitely know better. I'm sure it's a nice reel, so I'm not saying it's not nice. It's not for me. And Lightning M called it out here. He said Bates is a Longzhi Chinese manufacturer. They do have that is basically what's going on. And that's very nice. Again, it's just too expensive for me, and I'm not a real collector. They're tools. So if I
Yeah.
get one, I'm beating the hell out of it.
I wanna
And
use
I
it.
don't need. I'd rather have 4 or 5 or 6 $80 Valiant Eagles
All
that
day.
do just what they need to do.
Also, RAR Fishing probably filmed some casting content with it at the
Yeah.
casting pool. So check out RAR Fishing's page and you'll
Go
see
look
that.
at the expert. We're not BFS
Yeah.
experts. We are BFS
He-
novices.
Homie brings a scale with him, like RAR doesn't mess around.
He
He was
brings his
weighing
own
spools,
line measured out, ready to go to like put onto these reels.
spooled up reels, testing them out. So he's gonna be posting those videos.
He's your guy.
He's your guy. We're not trying to be as cool as RAR Fishing.
No.
Yeah, in different ways. Batteries. We're gonna jump to these for 5 seconds. You guys got to look at the Newport Low Pro. If you run a motor,
sleeper of the show.
I saw one comment negative about it. I didn't understand it.
He was complaining about the connectors. I'm like,
he wanted it to have towers.
This is a huge, like, oh, banana versus thumb. Nobody, dude, shut up. Let us have something cool and just freaking God.
They're going to be making their batteries more affordable. I think that's
33% cheaper than the equivalent standard battery that they make right now. So the regular batteries they have are too expensive. They are bringing the price down, just not right now. And then this new Low Pro is going to be 33% cheaper than their regular batteries, come in the same format, so same voltage and amp hours. And then these ones have a handle. They look like a briefcase. They're going to have rubberized corners. They are waterproof. They have waterproof just click connectors instead of screw-in towers. And they are designed to fit under kayak seats and under and inside kayak crates. It's genius. This will go down as one of the most slept on things that comes out of the show. Kayak anglers who know will know. It's a banger.
Everybody who uses a battery already gets it. They're here for it. All right, let's jump to accessories. We already talked about the Bixby Big Battery. We're going to get to that later.
So sick. Oh, the Bixby Big Battery has Yakutex track mounts on the sides and the top. There's 4 of them.
4 of them.
It's
track
no, I think
mounts,
it's actually
dude.
5. I think there's 1 on top and 2 on each side.
Yeah,
it's insane,
dude. So yeah, that thing is just cool as hell. All right, accessories. I want to touch on a few of these things for sure. Got to call out Rugged Road coolers. They're actually Rugged Road Outdoors. They do a lot of outdoorsy equipment stuff, kind of like maybe similar to Yeti. But they are a super light cooler that was a full surprise for us. Actually, the only reason we met them is I was thirsty. I went over to their cooler. I was like, you guys got water? And I opened it and it was just Celsius. And I said, that's technically water. And then I drank a Celsius. And then we threw their coolers as far as we could across the pond. That was really fun. So super cool guys. It is a really cool design. It's like a foam cooler, as light as it possibly can be, sprayed with essentially Line-X that you would put in your truck bed liner, but like a military grade level. So it is really durable. And they had a lot of accessories for this thing, like the Ice-Tomator, which is a freaking Bluetooth thing that
is insane.
Replaces your drain spout, and on your phone you can see how much longer you're going to have ice in your cooler. Their line is, if you're peaking, you're leaking. If you open the cooler, if you're peaking, you're leaking. That's actually in the video we dropped tonight, by the way. So if you check out our channel, our latest video is all the accessories. So stuff like we're talking about in this little bracket right here. So Rugged Road, really cool products. I like it. Again, we're going to try and get our hands on some so we can beat the ever-loving tar out of it. It's going to be a blast. Hobie Eyewear drops a magnetic clip-on frame. They haven't done prescription before, so they're doing prescription. I am going to get a pair of these, so I'll have my new regular glasses would be the Hobies, and then when I want to go
hold on.
fish,
Oh, no. We did not. No. Before we get in trouble here, we need to stop. It's not a prescription sunglass. It is a prescription
glasses.
Standard frame. So a standard sunglass frame that you wear, that you go and get your normal prescription into. So you just wear these as your everyday glasses, not sunglasses, just glasses. The frame is $120 on their site. You get your prescription. I don't know what that's going to cost you to add in there. That's on your insurance. That is a mystery to me. I don't know. After you get your lenses in the regular glasses like Jeff is wearing right now, you are able to then purchase for $40. They have like 6 different options, and you just clip and magnet them on, and they are the same super polarized, really high-end sunglasses that you would get from Hobie Eyewear and what you should expect. So custom frame that you purchase, you put your prescription in it, You buy these sunglasses after the fact. The whole cost minus whatever it costs for your prescription to get in the frame is 120 plus 40 times however many $40 clip-ons you want. My God, that I have to make that video for 130,000 people on TikTok.
Yeah, TikTok lost their dang minds.
Go in there and see how many people have seen this video.
Just spouting terrible comments nonstop about the
great.
Hobie eyewear. Anyways, we think that they're really cool. They got clip-on lenses. We're gonna try them out. I like it. So that was neat. Paul got a pair of regular ones. If you don't know, Hobie eyewear, they're standard glasses. They float. So
dude,
that's
so sick. And
cool.
then they have like caps on the side and stuff that snaps in. It's just super well done, and the polarization is great. I've always loved mine. Are they fracture proof? I don't friggin' know.
Fracture proof.
Oh my God. Do they come with a college degree? No, they don't.
Wait, what? Did somebody comment that on
No, it's just like that's the type of question someone would ask.
Yeah.
Like, did it come with soba noodles?
I wish. That'd be nice. We did, contrary to Yak Attack's beliefs, we did go by their booth. They thought they missed us. Apparently, they commented on one of our videos. But Yak Attack is still working on that forward-facing sonar scope rig, which is cool. It's a really neat idea. It folds up. I think it solves a lot of problems when it comes out. We'll see whenever the heck that is.
That's not there yet.
But they got a new captain's bridge. It's got tracks on 4 sides on it, and it'll like lock it. So like your fish finder that we were having issues on a regular track, it has slots or tabs in the sides. This will like fixate on this captain's bridge.
Nice.
It's really nice. I don't know what the cost is total. I'm assuming $200.
It's like a Picatinny rail style, so it's like what you would expect to see on the front of an AR.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Oh,
it
exactly
is.
What it's after.
It's pretty cool. There was an interesting concept of forward-facing sonar line that dropped this year, where they're using like metals in there. So the Cast King dropped an FFS line with
bismuth. The bismuth infused Cast King line is actually meant not to show up on forward-facing sonar more. It's actually meant to be neutrally buoyant, and that's to help you with techniques that are really taking advantage of forward-facing sonar. So it's more about like if you're hover strolling, if you're using a hover rig, if you're using a crazy jerk bait, and the idea is you want it to like hover in a very specific point in the water column. That is very forward-facing sonar. This line will help you do that. So that's the concept in the bismuth infused Cast King made forward-facing sonar line. It's really smart in my personal opinion.
I liked their explanation better than the Berkeley one, but Berkeley is also making.
I didn't even put it in the video.
It's fine.
I know.
And Benchmade made more knives. Their water series is pretty cool. We try and get our hands on
very
some.
Expensive, but
they are not free.
It's an heirloom. So I
220 to 250.
I see boat captains for sure getting it on board.
Oh, yeah.
Anyone who is a Benchmade fan, which there are a lot of you guys out there, I think you're going to be really happy with the designs. It's not for the faint of heart. $230-ish for either a foldable or fixed blade. The fixed blade is sick. It really is. And the sheaths were really well designed. So I like them, but they're not free. They're very expensive.
Olympic Fisherman, good call out. Yeah, Lawrence dropped the Eagle forward-facing sonar kit for $1,000.
Insane. We have to get one. I gotta find a way to get one.
Well, we have enough rigs that need to get rigged. It's like if you're gonna get a sonar, you just pull the trigger, do the
man.
Eagle. It's really cool. I think it's called Eagle Eye is what they're calling it or whatever. But yeah, it is really freaking neat. $1,000. I love to see stuff like that.
We have been telling you guys that these are going to get more affordable. They're going to make more affordable options, and they're going to make more expensive options. That's already happened a couple times, right? So Garmin drops a more expensive version,
right?
And then they do one that goes onto your a transducer that goes onto the front of your trolling motor, so that you can like actually lock onto stuff. Look, it's going to go both ways though. They're going to get cheaper and they're going to get better.
It's so. That's so interesting. I wonder how many haters, like once it becomes accessible, will not be haters. There's people who are like, we don't know the environmental stuff. Like,
we do
eventually, but like on the side of just like we don't need that. Maybe it's just not accessible, so maybe they can access it now. We'll see. Anyways, Yak Rod's made a magnet for their rods. That was pretty neat. So you can leash it up. It's like a slim leash option, a non-bulky leash for your rods. It's going to be more specific to theirs, but maybe they'll branch out where you could add it onto anything in the future. Who knows? We'll see. Gomexis made some cool tools. Those are in the video from tonight. Definitely
They're
check that out.
expanding like crazy. And they made, so one thing that we just saw in general was a lot of skeleton aluminum pliers. Some of them were titanium. Tungsten one is titanium, actually. They're all like under $50, and they all have cutters, split ring, and then long needle nose pliers. So like I'm on board. Like we have needed this for forever. There's a lot of nippers that are coming out too. The Gomexis nippers are the nicest ones that I saw by far. Tightest tolerance on the cuts, lightest weight, locked, closed, very pointy, stabby, which I actually kind of like. And they did 20,000 cuts to test their pliers. So I look, or their nippers. Like I'm a fan. I want those. I want if they got a hook eye cleaner on them. I really liked those. I also saw that Gamakatsu and Spro both dropped really lightweight ceramic scissors, really short blade ceramic scissors. They're like $10 to $20. I really like those. If you're a scissors guy, they have a little clip on them, so you put them on a retractor. I think that's really cool. The Gomexis ones were $40 some, and they came with an all aluminum cable retractor. Those are like $15 or $20 at least on their own. I think Gomexis, again, just gonna drop some sleeper products that people just are not ready for and are awesome.
Also, Michigan Outdoorsman, nice work, my dude. That's awesome.
Day.
Just catching them. All right. Kayak made a bait chamber. That's a pretty cool idea. So instead of like a bait wrap, you can just like have your bait in a plastic tube. You can keep the line in there, and you can hang it as a little hook, plastic hook, so it doesn't damage anything. Hanging on.
But it's really for bait caster guys, not so much for spinning guys. Look, I'm going to say this, and they're going to be mad. I think they're overpriced. I think they should be $3 each. It's the one time I've seen a casking price on something, and I'm like, nope. And I think that's why they're pushing it. It's $10 for 2 small ones or $10 for 1 large one.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I think they're gobbling up margin on that one. I'm a little unhappy.
It's
just that's my opinion. I love
bait wraps. A lot of bait wraps are.
I have their cheap ones, and they're great, and they work for spinning and casting, and they do the same thing minus the water drainage. So it's a cool idea though.
I did look at some evolution things. I'll see, maybe we get our hands. I know some guys like using that. I think they're more budget friendly. So some things from Evolution Tackle I might check out. Namely, their line bag was neat because you can have the spools ready to spool with a little line guide hole in the front.
Yeah,
that was cool, and they're really affordable. And then, we can't leave out Under Armour. The Under Armour booth.
Oh, dude, sleeper.
It was like the second booth we went to the whole trip because we had a meeting on Wednesday with them.
I'm so glad they invited us. I never would have gone otherwise.
No, exactly. Like, why would we go to the Under Armour booth? Well, we're happy we went. Their new deck boots are pretty insane. They brought us over to look at those, and we were like, look at these water shoes. And we immediately were like, forget your deck boots.
The deck boots are really nice.
They're really nice.
They're a little expensive, but they're really light. They're well designed. They are cool. If I got them, I'd be thrilled. But the water shoe is sick. Yeah, I wish it had the same sole as the Under Armour.
Right.
That is my only gripe.
It's a high grip sole. It's just not as high grip as the deck boot.
I'm worried the black stuff is going to rip off the sole. I could be crazy and wrong, and that would be great, but that's my only concern.
We'll find out. We're going to be testing
$90 bucks. That's a deal.
$90 water shoe, quick dry, good grip, looks comfortable. We're going to try them out.
Yeah.
And then their shirts. Yeah, they dropped like one of the lightest sun shirts you've ever seen, but Paul's more excited about their Tommy Bahama-esque button-ups.
100
million%.
I want to look so good. I want to look irresistible on the water.
Yep. All right. Let's talk about people, and then we're gonna get into some fun things here. So there were a lot of people that we were able to meet. There was a lot of folks, like even in chat right here. You guys were at ICAST, and we missed you. Sorry about that. If we could have said hi to everybody, we absolutely would have. Trust us, we weren't ducking you. We were just working too dang hard and sprinting all over the place and being mad that we don't have enough time. So I wish I could hang out with people a lot longer. There's just a lot of cool folks there. We met a lot of subscribers. That was a first for us, Paul. Like, I know there's some YouTubers out here that they'll be like, I was at the boat ramp randomly, and like every week they see a person. Like we don't get that often. So I'm blessed every time we get a chance to actually meet up with people who like the content. We appreciate you. So if we saw you there's a bunch of you. Thank you for saying hi. If you guys see us there in the future, you see us anywhere, please say hi. Interrupt us if we're doing a video. We don't care. Just come chat. We love you guys. So that was cool. to us to have that moment there. We mentioned Rugged Road. Those guys are a freaking blast. We got to do some content with those guys. It needs to be more than like, hey, I'd love a cooler. I'd like to be like, hey, I'd love to meet up with you guys and like do a trip. Let's go fish. Let's do something cool with these coolers and make some really cool content.
Go down to Georgia and just go ham.
Right? Just great bunch of dudes. Would love to hang out. Would hang out with them 10 days out of 7. Folks at like the booths were also saying they loved our energy. That was pretty cool to hear. It's like, I mean, we're coming up just doing our thing with a GoPro, and they were just all about it and let us do our thing and have fun. That was cool. A lot of vibe checks passed, I would say. We hung out with Herbie the Duck.
Way more situations where people knew who we were than ever before. Like you'd go to a booth and introduce yourself, and usually it would be like, okay, whatever. But a lot of people were like, oh yeah, you know, I've seen your videos. Like, and I'm like,
yep.
Wait, what? Like Matt,
I know,
Informative Fisherman's like, oh, I've seen, yeah, I know it. I'm like, why?
Yeah. So that's what I'm getting at. So if you guys don't know, there was this crazy security system crash across the world, and it caused air traffic to go bonkers. It was crazy. We were scared we were going to miss our flight. We're trying to fly back on Friday. And as we're sitting in the airport, all of a sudden our time on our flight just keeps going up and up and up and up. My wife's texting me. She's like, did you hear about the security thing? Travel's like shut down. I was like, oh no, we're trapped. So for 5 hours at the airport, Paul and I were filming with Herbie here. And Herbie was going on fun adventures. That's how bored we were around the airport while we posted videos, did stories, and answered asinine comments on TikTok. And edited. So we're doing all sorts of that stuff. And while doing that, we ran into a couple of pretty cool
It's the worst timing. We were throwing the duck back and forth, and Matt was like, hey, nerds, what are you doing?
Yeah. We're just filming around. But we ran into Informative Fisherman. If you guys don't know him, check him out. Like OG fishing YouTuber from back in the day. So Nick the Informative Fisherman, he says, hey, start talking to him. Run into Barbara from IGFA. If you guys don't know what the IGFA is, hang on. I have her card here. They're like a nonprofit organization, and they do a lot of conservation work, but they're also record keepers. So like if you get a state record fish, like they're the people that would like certify that and like take that data record down. So it's pretty cool. Like learn some interesting things there. And then randomly walks up Fred Rumbanus, the MLF pro fisherman, and his son. Fred walks
Super
up.
Nice guy.
Nick knows him. We're just hanging out. Nick introduces us. We all go sit at the Outback Steakhouse and order some beers and chat for a while. And then I showed them the baby Giron that Rar Fishing gave us. I was like, oh, they were showing off swim baits, like giant swim baits. And I was like, here, guys, check this out.
They're like, what was that?
What am I going to catch with this? Nothing. Yeah, you're right. Sorry, Fred. Bye.
Wow.
No, they're all super nice folks. That was just really cool. And I also say that Paul and I are always the most hyped people at the award ceremony. So when they do the best in show, every ICAST on the Wednesday, they do the best of category ceremony where they hand out, I think it was 44 awards this year. There's everybody's in the room.
Announcers I've ever seen in my life. I'm still cringing.
Oh, listen, I'd like to formally submit our application to be the announcers at the best of category.
Let me host. Oh my God, please.
If you need my resume, let me know. Info
I'm better than that guy who runs the entire show. Let him run the entire show and then let me host. My God.
It was kind of cringeworthy, yeah. But it was open bar. So Paul and I grabbed like 14 beers, ran up to the front. They're all in our pockets, and we're just like shouting at everybody. And everybody that we met that we liked that was winning prizes, we were just like all over it. So it's pretty hype. It's a lot of fun. And then we got to hang out with Bait Finesse Empire. That was cool. That was like the icing on the cake because they were our roomies. Also, if you saw any of the Tackle Warehouse and Tactical Bassin content, they're in like the same condo unit as us. They're like one of the floors up or down from us. It was funny seeing them in the living room of the Airbnb combo or condo, and like we were in that same living room. I was like, oh my gosh, it's like the same paintings and everything because it's just like a big Airbnb syndicate essentially. Yeah. All right, Nicholas Hubert. Missed y'all's last week. Don't worry, it was kind of it was a hot mess last week. Thanks for the awesome ICAST update and first looks out of the local pond in Colorado. 5 bigs today. would go over 15 pounds. Dude, nice.
That's a big day.
That is a big day. Gosh dang. Great fishing day. Awesome. Love it. All right. So there were some things, but I think we move into like slow rolling thunder and meh. Do you want to go through the meh?
Real
Mid?
fast. We
What are
already talked
seeing
about
these
one.
days?
People just raging on big kayaks. Very strange flex. Don't
Yep.
understand it.
Don't
Old
get
Town
it.
was not present. So no
Weird.
releases. Didn't talk
So
about
weird.
the EPDL. Just nowhere to be found. Very strange to me.
I wanted to see the Fire Tiger kayak. I didn't even get
Uh,
to see the Fire Tiger color. What the heck?
Zero interest in colors.
Uh,
Best in show is rigged. I would totally agree. You guys, like the way this works. You know, you get your. I'm just gonna call them out because they're probably the biggest one. Pure Fishing has, you know, X number of votes based on how many tickets or
media tags
they buy. And
Yeah.
that's how these things get done. That's how Crush City gets to basically win whenever they want. And frankly, probably Under Armour too, and some of these other ones that they just have a lot of people with them. And when you bring a lot of people, you get a lot of votes. That is it. That's the whole thing. And then all the other people who have media tags, they're sending their product out to them. They're like, hey, look how cool it is. Also, I'm one of your sponsors for your magazine. So why don't you just go ahead and vote for me? Okay, thanks. Bye. And like that's how this works. It is what it is. It just is what it is.
I think that helps though when somebody from the outside looking in goes like, why did that Penn saltwater reel win? Because you're looking at it from a perspective of maybe a freshwater fisherman and not understanding how the voting works. Saltwater is pretty huge at ICAST. We don't film any of it because we don't have time for all that.
I don't know anything about it. So
we don't do it.
Look, this is what I wanted to add to meh is like I struggle sometimes. There's stuff that I'm just not going to film because I don't know anything about it. And I don't like making a video. It's like this reel is smooth and then leave. Like that's not helpful. And I don't want to be wrong and not know something that's really unique about a reel. So we do our best to talk to designers and brand managers who actually know what the heck is going on, know everything about the product. Yes, you're getting their rosy picture of the whole thing, but that was their concept and design. So I'm fine with letting them show you that. When I don't know about it, saltwater stuff, you're not going to see it.
I do.
Same with some of the freshwater stuff.
I love having the designers talk about it because that's a person that made it. They're super passionate about it. And
somebody years on that thing.
Somebody made a comment. I can't remember where it was, but they were talking about how like sometimes the pro reviews.
It was Debo. I was talking with Debo about this. He's like the pro reviews are trash. And the pro reviews are absolutely garbage. They're and like, look, we're at that's like asking a baseball player to go comment on like a Scantron test. Like they're not. That's not what they're there for. Do they know a lot about fishing? Yes. Did they design the St. Croix what the hell ever? No, they didn't. And like they may have never even touched it at this point. Like
they know some bullet
regurgitating the bullet points that they were given, and that's it. And like, look, that's what they're being asked to do. They're not marketers, and they didn't do the design. So it's not their fault, but it's just not the person that I really want speaking to it. But when we do pros, I'm like, fart.
There are no pros in this year's ICAST, and there is a reason for that.
There were a lot less than there normally are.
Yeah,
way less.
No, we had 0 pros do it this year.
No, I just mean in jerseys in general. There were way less jerseys walking around than normal.
I think it picked up Thursday and Friday. They
but like the number of
pros
in general, nowhere near at the booths, nowhere near as many.
All right, Army Outdoors, our buddy. What is up, fellas? Great live, making plans when it's not 110 degrees to head up to Lake Havasu in September, October. That's gonna be a blast, dude. And fish for the whole week, a week on Havasu. That's gonna be sick. You're gonna have so much fun, too much fun, and you gotta post about it. Glad y'all enjoyed ICAST. Keep up the amazing content, fellas. Thank you so much, my friend. Yeah, awesome. So, did we cover everything? I think we covered everything.
Nope, there is one guy.
Mention this guy.
All right, so let me set the stage for you. Jeff and I are in about 10 minutes before we were going to board our plane to leave to go to ICAST.
Yeah.
So we're like, dude, we should eat because, like, you know, the time change and all this other stuff. Like, you know, we are flying when we're supposed to be eating. That's what I meant. Like we're going to lose hours in the plane.
Yep.
So we were like, oh, let's eat now. And then if we're hungry later, at least I've had a meal. So we do a 180. We get on the line. We go to Qdoba. We're waiting in line. There's a guy in front of us, and he's being rung up. And then the person is like folding the burrito, and he has his headphones in.
Yeah.
And he goes over and he goes, "Man, you're really folding that great. You're a rock star." And we
No, it was worse. He goes,
did he say?
show me how you fold that burrito
Right.
to the person making the burrito.
Yeah.
And then she goes, what? And then she folds it. And he's like, you're really good at that. You're a rock star. And she just goes, bro. Actually, it was more of a bruh. What?
What? She was so taken. She was aghast. She was like, who are you? I'm cringing. I feel filthy. Don't talk to me.
And
And
Paul
I look
says
over and I
out
go, bro,
loud,
what the I go, bro, what the fart? And I did not say fart. I dropped a severe curse because I was like, shut
yeah.
up. Go
And
away.
then
Don't be
you looked
here.
at me
Don't
like,
speak. You're the weirdest dude I've ever seen.
you looked at me like, did I say that out loud? And I was like, yeah, you said that out loud.
100% I said. I looked at him like, did he say that out loud?
Did
That's what I
he
looked
say
at you
that
like.
out loud?
Like, I can't believe that guy just did that. And the girl's face was just like, what is
She was not having it.
happening? I hate that. And they're all
Yeah.
laughing at the guy, and he's just oblivious. Oblivious.
Really weird, a really strange
Painful.
thing.
Painful.
All right. Well, we're going to sail off with some slow rolling thunder here. I want to thank everybody who got a chance to come in and hang out tonight. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. I understand from the social medias, there was a couple other like big lives going on tonight. So I get it. We're going to ramp this up. Probably need to do a bracket series and revive our energies next week. And we also are going to work on getting Nick, the informative fisherman, on the show on account I promised him we would when we were talking at the airport. So we'll see. But that'd be freaking cool. All right. So thinking about ICAST, I want you to think about it this way. If you could bring a new product to market, Paul, you're going to invent something. You're going to make something that's going to just decimate the industry with surprise. What would you bring to ICAST?
Mine's easy. I already know.
Yep. Okay.
Easy.
Go ahead.
It would be 3 kayaks. There would be a river kayak. It'd be a whole set.
I thought you meant like tied together like the XTR.
No, the XTRRR. No,
3 kayaks that can merge together like in Power Rangers.
Dude, listen, it would be it's
more fun time.
It would be a pirate themed kayak drop. Okay. You would have the river raft, and it would be the dirtiest design ever because it would be just empty, but it would be 10.5 feet. It would have an open space to drop a pedal drive, but you don't buy the pedal drive with it. And it would be open like the new Canoe Unlimited, and it would have a flat rear for a transom mount as well. Then I would have a 12-foot that would be like the not tournament rig, but like your big water rig. It would be like the Unlimited 12, but it would have built-in rod holders for sure. It would also have the ability to, it would be pedalable, but really be V-hull designed to have a motor, and that would be the fastest, hopefully, kayak design out there. And then I would have the tournament-ready 2-person XTR style, but also would have a place for a pedal drive. All of them would come with the blocker, the plate that you put over that rear transom mount. It would definitely be dual, so extra wide in the back. The whole thing though would be under 120 pounds kitted out with 1 seat. That would be my drop. I would aim to have all those. Well, the biggest one would be under 2,000 if I could do it, $1,999. The middle one would probably be $1,700, and the bottom one would be $1,500. And the idea being everything would be transferable. Anything that you buy for one would work for the other ones. And it would be like, you can do whatever you want with this brand, and everything moves from one thing to the other. You could buy the pedal drive separate and use them for all 3, et cetera, et cetera. That would be my dream drop. Pirate themed.
For the pirate
color
theme.
Scheme, the names of the boats, everything. The whole branding of it would be pirate themed. There'd be skeleton rats all over the river one. It would be freaking sick. That's what I would do.
The skeleton river kayak would be sick as hell.
Rad as hell.
I would love to see that.
Right.
Okay. Clutch idea. Love that you went for that. I think there's a lot of things we could talk about.
Love that for you.
Love that for you.
Next.
A lot of things we could do with kayaks. I feel like one thing that I would love to see more at ICAST, and I'm not going to give you a whole pitch spiel like Paul just did, but I would say what's missing a lot is storage for these big ass kayaks. So what I would bring if I invented it would be figure out 100%. Some sort of garage rotating rack. So let's say you have 3 kayaks. You bought Paul's 3 kayaks, right? And you got that big old XTR, and you got like a mobile kayak station like we have, or a kayak rack of some sort. You got to take that heavy thing, load it in your vehicle. It can be a pain in the butt. If you have 3 kayaks, it's even more of a pain in the butt because you have to like cycle through which ones you want. So imagine if you could have like my wall rack, Paul, but it like rotated like a vertical conveyor belt. That's what I want.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
dude, we're on the same page. We've argued about this
right?
1,000 times.
It's
I
like
100%. We need
Iron Man
wall mount
choosing his
options for
suits.
3 kayaks, and they have to be able to each handle 200
Yeah.
pounds, and they have to be able to pull out. The thing is they have to be able to go all the way to the ground and pull them out. The problem with the rotator, because I've thought about that, because you can manually make one with a jack.
Yeah.
The problem I have with that one is that it has to be so deep. It has to be twice as wide as all your kayaks. So it actually ends up being about 5 feet wide. That's the problem with that one. So I'm still, I need something that's got the hydraulic drop where it's there and the same arm that holds it comes out and then comes down. And it's got to be 2 arms. It can't be anything flat. It can't be tubes.
Back your truck up.
That doesn't allow you to slide it. It's a problem.
Yeah. You could back your truck into the garage, pull the thing out.
Exactly.
And then it extends and then you slide off of it and then you put it back.
Hydraulics.
And potentially if you have like
it's got to be hydraulics.
Pull it out, you could like lift it up and slide it off.
Load it. You have to be able to load it back in. All the ones that, or here's the thing, it's a 2-part system where you have a folding wheel base where you pull it out and it comes down and then it rests on the base. So it rests on the wheelbase. Then you wheel it and take it wherever you want to go. That's what we need.
Yep.
It's too wide. I thought about this.
I know. I hear you. I like the extension option with the hydraulics. That'd be cool. But yeah, there's never a lot of storage stuff. There's never like some cool new trailer. ICAST made a giant cart for $1,000
in the ICAST. So there were the 2 slings where it was slings. Like a
one had wheels, one didn't.
Like H shape, and then slings. I hate those. I don't like those. They're way too expensive. They're too expensive, and you can't slide them around. It's just a bad. I don't like that design. It's good for somebody. It's horrible for me.
It'd be cool if it wasn't always just like singular manufacturers making trailers. For example, like Tennessee Trailers is a small operation. They're not going to ICAST. But if there was like a mass produced type of trail, like a Malone or whatever, but like a brand made specifically for kayaks and riggability and all that stuff, that would be cool to see at an ICAST as well, because there's never trailers, there's never storage.
Stunning to me. I'm still floored to this day that no one has made a modular kayak specific for fishing and small boats, a modular trailer that you buy and you just add on the accessories that you want and you don't add the accessories that you don't want, and they just fabricate it Lego style. How does that not exist? And it's got to be aluminum. These two steel ones are insane. We don't need them. They weigh too much. They're too long. They don't fold. Like, it's great for like a very small subset of fishermen. I need aluminum, folding tongue, ultra light, carries 2 kayaks, bolt on the accessories that I want, and make it handle up to 16 feet and 500 pounds on each side. It's not that hard. They already exist. They're just not modular, and they need to be able to go 70, 80 miles an hour. That's what you have to have. And I can't believe that someone's not made that yet.
It really does blow my mind. Jason,
charge me $2,000. I don't care.
Right. Jason mentions Malone. Malone's like the only brand. If you look up kayak trailers, you get
it's the only one I'd buy.
BS, extremely expensive, fabricated ones by single manufacturer or Malone. So
and the Malone is just a jet ski trailer. You have to pay up another $500 or $800 to get the one that can go fast enough. Look, that custom build is a problem. It's way too big. It's way too heavy. It's monstrous. Like, if you don't have a 3-car garage or an external spot to park that thing, I'm sorry, it's just way too big, and it's got way too much. Too much is like covered. Like, I want fast, light. I want one that I can do 1 or 2 whenever I want, and like it needs to be modular, where like I can have. I need a place where I can put a box or tubes on it and stuff like that, but not have this monstrosity that costs like $6,000. I want one that costs like $3,000 and with no options and can go 80 miles an hour. That's what the world needs.
That's what the people need. All right. So shall we roll out with plans for next year? Upgrades, updates to technology, maybe that we should probably make. I feel like Austin Hoover bullied us into trying DJI, but I'm kind of with it. At least for the mics. I've been looking at the I'm close on that camera. Definitely want to make some upgrades as far as camera quality. Obviously the video quality and audio quality can improve. Our mics were dying left and right on us, you guys. So we were using one mic. We were holding it. It's like not how we want to do it, but it's what we had to do. I will probably get the DJI dual mic. They just updated it. I think they have a 2 right now for 300 something bucks. Anyways, probably do that. We'll have dual mics next year. So it'll be a lot cleaner audio wise. So that's one thing. Maybe camera too. I think there's things we can look at. What are you looking at?
Tony 450 asked us, I'd like to know your take on the Bonafide XTR dual motor kayak. What's the XT 134?
I think he means the 130, the XTR 130. Yeah.
And he says, I'm disabled and cannot paddle far, and this seemed ideal for me. What are your takes, please? Look, for somebody who's disabled, I probably want a trailerable kayak that's very light and very maneuverable. Personally, for you, and I don't know what the disability you're trying to manage through is, but a motorized kayak's the way to go. I would not get a kayak nearly that big, frankly. That's just my opinion. I think you can get a lot more maneuverability out of like an unlimited 12, and then you can customize it really to your heart's content, and you're still getting 12 feet, but it weighs a heck of a lot less, and it's going to be a lot easier for you to manage on the water.
Super stable.
That's just really stable. So that's my opinion, man. For what it's worth, the XTR I think is actually a little on the expensive side compared to the unlimited 12. It has a lot of options that are great, and it's comfortable. But they're both very comfortable, and I think you might actually get a lot more of a lighter kayak that's a little more maneuverable, and it's going to be even a little faster with the motor. So that's just my opinion. Overall, though, really cool boat. If you're into it, I think you should go that route. You're not going to be disappointed. I haven't been in it on the water. From what I've seen, it seems like based on Hans, the designer, he's been designing Bonafide and native kayaks for years. He's done a wonderful job. I can confidently say they very likely designed a very nice boat. Go that route if you like it, but my recommendation, go a little bit lighter. I think you'll be happier. Just
I think it's a good call. Opinion. I think the unlimited, their 12-foot is a great way to go. Lightning M asks, biggest outboard you can put on a kayak. Right now they kind of cap it on the kayak.
No, it depends on the kayak. I think
it definitely depends on the kayak.
And then if you put a plate on it, I think you can get away with 6 or 8 pretty easily. But you need a big heavy duty plate, and you need a big heavy duty transom, and you got to be really, really careful. And I think, to Jeff's point, 3 to 5 is probably the absolute max right now.
You can put 1.5 on any kayak you want. You can put 3 on some stronger, bigger kayaks.
Anything with a 4-bolt and has a backer plate, you can put the 3, and then I think you could get away with more if you really needed to. But
Titan X 5-horse.
I think the Titan X, the Slayer Max are the actual exceptions. I think the hulls are probably rigid enough. I think the Hobie you can't. I think you'll crack the hull
with a 5. Not with
a 5.
Plenty of people
with a 3. No, 3 all day. But I think you go above that, I think you're looking at probably a cracked hull. They're just they're thinner.
Yeah. And I ask, any new pedal kayaks worth chasing? It doesn't seem like the industry's going that way right now.
And
like they're doing.
This is why I wanted to drop what I want to drop. I think every single kayak that ever gets made should have a plate option in the middle, and you can buy the pedals after the fact, because I think people are sleeping on ditching the paddle altogether, getting the motorized kayak that 99% of the time is motorized, but you have the pedal as an option. Yeah. There are very few kayaks that are really designed around motors that also have pedals. Every kayak should have those. That's just my opinion. I think it's a huge miss for everybody. That's just my opinion.
They're making you buy a bunch of different kayaks. All right.
They're making you buy multiples, or you got to walk away from something that's really valuable. Pedals are still very valuable.
Yeah. Calvin, we have not got our hands on those yet, but we will. 100%. They look juicy as heck. It's going to be a lot of fun. So the Z-Man micro worms.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited about it. Cool. Well, I think we covered everything. So there we go. We love you guys. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Back again live next week. Maybe a guest. Maybe we do a little bracket series. Maybe Should we just bracket the things from ICAST that we saw? We can see what wins.
We could
do that. ICAST bracket, last of ICAST, because we have a video drop tonight. Yeah, there's a ICAST video that went out tonight for accessories, fishing and kayak, not just kayak accessories, fishing in general. Friday we're posting baits, ICAST baits that we thought were cool, lures, and then Monday we should have rods and reels. So that'll be the last of our ICAST videos. We'll move on with our lives to actually trying things and maybe fishing. Because I think that's a fun idea. Do you want to fish this weekend? Should we do that? If we have some, oh, okay, cool. I'll fish this weekend.
Skip it.
Sounds good. All right, that's all we got for you guys tonight. Thanks for hanging out with us. We out of here. Chaz, take us out.